What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Blazers Uprise Live here on a Monday, starting off your week right. The Blazers don't play today. They will play tomorrow and then Wednesday against both LA teams. Eric, I see you got the PDX Carpet, Blazer card behind you.
Yeah,
Nice.
adding to the collection there. Yeah, thanks to
Yeah,
my mom.
Very, very well done. So we got picks against the spread, 10 games, and then we're going to take some chat polls. We're going to do some chat polls, and we're going to get your opinions on the Blazers' first 20 games of the season and see what you guys truly think of the start, if you guys are feeling optimistic or pessimistic. And it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of a season, so I'm interested to see what you guys have to say. But first off, Eric, we got to jump into picks against the spread. Once again, this is Blazers Uprise Live presented by Bet Online. All the spreads that you see today are brought to you by Bet Online. If you've been making your own picks along with us and you've been doing good, maybe you can take that action over to Bet Online and use promo code BELIEVE and you'll receive 50% rewards, a 50% reward bonus if you use the promo code BELIEVE, B-L-E-A-V. So if you've been having good luck so far this season picking some of these spreads along with us, then you can check out Bet Online. Eric, as we take a look at the standings, you're only a game back of first.
Yeah, very nice. 10-3 last Wednesday. I'll definitely take it. Jackson struggled, as did pretty much everyone else except for you and Trevin, the only two others over 500. So good day for some of us, bad day for pretty much everyone else.
Yeah, I felt like I did better looking at the scores, man. I was a little disappointed once the final tally was 7-6, but I'll take it, gaining 3 games on Jackson. We're trying to catch back up to the pack, catch back up to 500, man. 41-51 is disappointing for me so far, and the fact that I'm in 4th place with that record is kind of wild. So the logic of the NBA has just been off this year, though, in picking games.
I do like that 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th are all one game behind the person ahead of them.
Yeah. I mean, we got to make this more respectable. We got to bring it back up to 500 here. At least, some double down records are above 500. Actually, only 2. I don't know what it is. The double downs weren't good last year. They're not good this year. Let's jump into game number 1. You got the Philadelphia 76ers hosting the Atlanta Hawks, and Philadelphia is a 3-point favorite.
The Hawks are without Bogdan Bogdanovic and Jalen Johnson. The 76ers are without James Harden and Tyrese Maxey. It looks like Joel Embiid is going to try playing.
All right, and you got to... all right, let me fix your webcam and let me get that chat poll in. And then we'll get this rolling. The spread is in the graphic. I'm not putting it in this chat poll. I'm feeling lazy on this chat poll. But yeah, Philadelphia 3-point favorites without Maxey, without Harden. And you said the Hawks are without Bogdanovic and who?
Jalen Johnson.
Okay.
Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter were questionable, but they're both playing.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready for... I have several people's picks already, so...
Yeah, I sent them in beforehand. I'm just going to go with Atlanta right now, and then what are the rest?
Aeromancer, Jackson, and Trevin are all Atlanta as well.
Whoops, wrong team. Wrong team. All right. And then what else?
Zach and Connor are Philadelphia.
Okay.
I am going to go Atlanta.
And Chats is rolling with the Hawks, 57%. So Zach and Connor together on an island. There, game number 2. You got the Washington Wizards holding the Minnesota T-Wolves. Washington is a 1-point home favorite.
Yeah. Jaden McDaniels, Torian Prince, Jordan McLaughlin out for the Wolves. For the Wizards, they were without DeLon Wright and Rui Hachimura.
One of the longest picks against the spread polls of the year. Minnesota Timberwolves and Washington Wizards. Just wait till we play the Timberwolves. Oh, I gotta make Skype full screen. I think that'll fix it. There we go. Okay, that's better. Perfect. All right. This is a tough game because Minnesota's better on paper, but they've been playing terribly.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have a good feeling about the Wolves tonight, so I'm going to take them. Aeromancer and Zach did the same thing.
I'm also taking the Wolves.
Connor is the only one so far that has chosen the Wizards.
All right. And then Trevin and Jackson.
Trevin is Wizards. Jackson Wolves.
I'm going to regret this. Chat is also rolling with the Wolves. Running with the Wolves. All right. So, Connor and Trevin this time. Everybody else, Minnesota. Game number 3, you got the Brooklyn Nets hosting the Orlando Magic, and Brooklyn is an 11-point home favorite.
Yep, the Magic are without Jonathan Isaac, Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs, and Wendell Carter Jr., and have Mo Bamba and Chuma Okeke as game-time decisions. So a lot of players out for them. The Nets are just without TJ Warren and Yuta Watanabe.
Okay, who are the notable players out for the Nets? You said Carter and you said Suggs.
For the Magic?
Everybody else, yeah, and everybody else was
Carter, Suggs, Terrence Ross, Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
Mo Bamba might not play.
Has Cole Anthony played at all yet this year?
Yeah, he played the first couple weeks and then got hurt and has been out since. Chuma Okeke just rolled out.
All right. Yeah, that changes my pick.
You can't watch TV down here.
Still nothing for sure on Mo Bamba, though.
I'm going with the Nets. Jackson and Trevin are Nets.
Zach is also Nets.
And a lot of agreement today. Smog says chat kind of quiet today. Yeah, Smog, chat has been quiet because, the Blazers aren't playing too well. I miss the rambunctiousness from the start of the season.
Aeromancer, Connor, and myself are going to take the points and grab the Magic at minus 11. Or plus 11.
Chat is rolling with the Nets. All right. Game number 4, you got the Toronto Raptors hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Toronto is a 4-point home favorite.
All right. Toronto looks like they're getting Pascal Siakam back tonight. He'll be on a minutes restriction. But the only 2 players listed out for them currently are Otto Porter Jr. and Precious Achiuwa. For the Cavs, they're without Jared Allen, Kevin Love, Lamar Stevens, Ricky Rubio, and Dylan Windler.
Alrighty. I'm going to take the points and go with the Cavs.
Yeah, I am as well. Looks like Jackson is on the Cavs along with Aeromancer and Zach.
Jeez, I'm not going to be able to gain a game on Jackson.
Well, I think it's more important to get back to 500 than worry about first and second first, right?
Yeah. In it to win it. A win's a win. Trevin is Raptors. Trying to defend my crown.
But if you're wrong and the opposite of Jackson, then you'd fall further behind 500 and Jackson.
I feel like I'm right today.
Okay.
I'm feeling very, very right today. What's Connor doing?
Connor is Raptors.
All right, and chat is going with the Cavaliers.
Close.
All right, game number 5. We got Boston hosting the Charlotte Hornets. It's another 11-point spread. This time Boston is the favorite.
Yep, we got the Hornets without LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Dennis Smith Jr., Cody Martin, and Terry Rozier in this one. And the Celtics are sitting Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams, and Al Horford.
I don't even remember who's out for Lord. So many names. Oh my goodness. LaMelo and Rozier, you said?
Pretty much everyone. They're starting Teo Maledon at point guard.
God, that's gross.
They got here. I'll list who they have available.
Yeah, let's hear this. This is beautiful.
They have Maledon, Oubre, Jalen McDaniels, PJ Washington, Mason Plumlee, Book Knight, Nick Richards, Kai Jones, and Bryce McGowens. Those are the only active players tonight.
Why do I have the feeling this could be like an upset win for the Hornets somehow? Like McGowens has 15 off the bench.
I don't know.
Since I feel like it's going to be an upset win for the Hornets, I'm going to go with the Celtics.
All right. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to take the points.
Whoops, I put the Celtics as
man.
the home and road team. All right, what else we got?
Everyone is Hornet or Celtics except for looks like Jackson and I.
Gonna be mad if I didn't trust my gut and you two at the top get this right. But trusting my gut hasn't worked out for me so far this season. All right, next game we got the Pelicans hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Pelicans are 5.5-point home favorites.
All right. So the Thunder are relatively healthy. Only Mike Muscala is missing this game for them. And then the Pelicans have CJ McCollum out, Brandon Ingram out, Najee Marshall out, and Larry Nance Jr. out. Trevin and Zach are on the Pelicans. Aeromancer and Connor on the Thunder.
Okay, hold on. 2 games in a row I put one team is both home and road for the logos down beneath. There we go. All right. I'm going Thunder, and what was the rest?
Aeromancer, Connor, Jackson, all Thunder. With you.
Who was the Pelicans?
Zach and Trevin are Pelicans so far.
And what are you?
I don't like that Ingram's out, so I'm going to take the Thunder.
Oh, it's a tie in chat right now. Somebody break the tie, chat.
Hey, what's up, Carter?
What's up, Carter? How you doing? We need somebody to break the tie in the picks against the spread chat poll. Maybe that could be you, Carter. Because it's sitting at 50-50. Still sitting at 50-50. 2 people voted, 1 for each. Might have to flip a coin. Okay, there we go. Pelicans. Thank you for whoever just voted. All right, so we got 3 people on the Pelicans. Trevin, Zach, chat. Everyone else, Thunder. Game number 7 out of 10. Whoops, let me take these picks down. You got Denver hosting the Houston Rockets. Denver is 11. This spread is frequent today. This is the third 11-point spread. Denver's favored by 11 points at home.
Yep, the Rockets are without Jayshawn Tate. The Nuggets are without Jeff Green. And then also Michael Porter Jr. is doubtful. Bones Highland also doubtful. I'm going to take the points once again like I have the other 2 games and just go with the Rockets.
I'm gonna... Who guards Jokic, though?
Şengün. Bruno Fernando. You laugh with Bruno Fernando.
I was going to go Rockets, but I'm actually going to go Nuggets. They've played well at home. Altitude. Nobody can guard Jokic on that Rockets team. I'm going Nuggets.
All right. Trevin is the only other one with you.
All right.
And Aeromancer, Zach, Jackson, and myself are all Rockets. I didn't see. Connor is actually Nuggets with you.
Zach was Rockets.
Yeah, everyone but Trevin and Connor and yourself.
Okay. And chat's Rockets. Yeah, it's a little easier for me to do if you say like the team than who picked them, if that's possible. I don't know. But me, Trevin, Jackson, Nuggets, everybody else Rockets. Game number 8.
Hold on, the poll finished 50-50.
Nope, it was Rockets, and then I ended it, so those votes were after the buzzer. So I ended it when I was at 53% Rockets, so that happens sometimes. Utah's hosting Chicago. Utah is a 1-point home favorite.
The Bulls are without Lonzo Ball, and Alex Caruso is questionable. And then the Jazz are without Mike Conley, Rudy Gay, and then they have 2 questionable guys, Lauri Markkanen and Leandro Balmero are both questionable.
Markkanen's questionable? Oh,
yeah.
My goodness.
By the way, it looks like you flipped Jackson and Connor on the last game.
Okay, I'll fix it. There, boom. Alright, time. I don't know what I want to do.
I'm going to take the Bulls.
Bulls.
Trevin Bulls, Zach Bulls, Connor Bulls.
Alright.
Jackson Bulls.
Everybody Bulls.
Aeromancer is the only one on Jazz so far.
Okay, your Bulls. Zach was Bulls.
What's up, Max? How you doing?
I'm going Bulls. Trevin was Bulls.
Yes.
Alright, so everybody Bulls except Aeromancer.
By the way, I saw Crushable's in here. Just want to say congratulations on the birth of a child.
Oh, I didn't see that. Awesome, man. Congrats. Yeah. I'll have to go stalk his Twitter page after this. All right. Aeromancer on an island. Congratulations to Aeromancer. You now own an island. Game number 9 out of 10. We got Sacramento hosting the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix is a 1-point home. No. 1-point road favorite.
Yes. Chris Paul and Cam Johnson are out for the Suns. The Kings have Trey Lyles out. No one else listed on their injury report.
You said who and Chris Paul?
Cam Johnson.
Yeah, okay. No, expected. I was thinking campaign because I heard Cam. Well, I was typing the chat poll. There is the chat poll. It is now in the chat.
Aeromancer Suns, Eric Suns.
All right.
Zach Kings, Connor Kings, Jackson Kings.
Really? I'm going with the Suns.
Trevin Suns, Torrey Suns.
In chat, definitely going to end up going with the Suns. There it is. Suns for chat. All right, final game. Game number 10. We got the Lakers hosting the Pacers, who have been playing great basketball. The Lakers are still 3.5 home favorites.
So the Pacers are without Chris Duarte and Daniel Tice. Andrew Nebhard is questionable. The Lakers are without Pat Beverly. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, both probable at this point.
I'm going with the Lakers.
Connor's also on the Lakers, as am I.
Pacers for Trevin, Lakers for Jackson.
And then Aeromancer and Zach are Pacers.
You miss seasoning the records, Jackson. Chat is also Pacers. We got a split vote. To end things off, but first, double downs. These count as 2 wins or 2 losses.
So chat's going to have a poll between the Suns and Bulls.
Suns, Phoenix -1.
Bulls +1.
Phoenix was playing who? Sacramento. At Sacramento. And then Bulls, were they on the road?
They're at Jazz.
Yeah, and then Chicago given a point at Utah. Cool. Alright, so the -1 means they were favored by a point. The +1 means they were underdogs by a point. Max, that sounds like a ton of fun, man. Alright, what are the double downs for everyone else?
Trevin is Suns.
Alright, Trevin is on the Suns.
Jackson is Rockets. Zach is Pacers. Connor is Wizards.
Yeah, Connor, Wizards, there we go. And then Jackson. Jackson is Rockets. So we got Trevin, Jackson, Connor, and who was the other one?
Zach is Pacers.
Okay, cool. Zach is the Pacers.
Aeromancer has Celtics.
That's who we had last time.
Good variety.
I didn't have to change the logo. Nice. Who are you going with? Do you know?
I am going to...
While you decide that, I'll look through spreads for myself. The logos always end up changing on that. I don't know why.
You know what? I'm going to go with the Lakers. I was going to say Minnesota, but I don't trust them.
You're on the Lakers. I'm on the Bulls. And then chat is Suns. Only agreement. Chat with Trevin. I feel bad about this Bulls double down pick, which means it's probably a good double down pick for me. Alright, that is picks against the spread. Good luck to everyone. We'll be back on Thursday and see how everyone did. 10 games. There's a lot of chance for change. One last look at the standings. Eric can take first. And then it's bunched up 3 through 6 with me, you guys, chat, Connor, and Zach. Once again, these spreads were all brought to you by BetOnline. You can still get in on the games that tip off around 4:10 or any of these spreads featured in this segment if you check out BetOnline. All right, so I don't have a plan for the rest of this other than we're just going to see what you guys think. We're going to do chat polls for a couple different things and basically get the pulse of the fan base, so to say. So that's what we're doing. Is there anything else that you want to talk about for this stream that maybe we can get into and segue into that?
Well, just a quick injury update.
Wasn't really much of an update.
Casey Holdall had an update on how many days it's been since the last announcement. 8 days for Dame and 10 days for let me just get the exact thing. But yeah, no new news on either guy. Um, yeah, I don't even really know what the point of it was, but yeah, 10 days since Gary Payton's announcement for reevaluation in 2 weeks. So that would be Friday. And then 8 days since they said 1 to 2 weeks for Dame.
Cool. Who do you expect back first?
Um,
I mean, I feel like that's a pretty easy question, but
I think Dame's gonna be back first.
yeah, same. Felt like that was a pretty obvious answer. Just wanted
Yeah.
to see, but all right. So, what's the first chat poll or question that I should do, Eric?
How's like your overall feeling of the first 20 games? Are you content being 11-9? Are you disappointed that they're 11-9 after the good start, or are you feeling good that they're above 500 still with the tough schedule and lots of road games?
So what are the
content, excited, disappointed.
Excited, content, disappointed.
Through 20 games, just overall feelings.
And then the fourth one, I don't know what I'm feeling.
Trade everyone.
So what would your answer to this poll be?
I probably have to say content. I mean, it's disappointed the way it's turned out, the way we've gone from our top 10 defense to now 19th in defense. But overall, if you would have told me we'd be 11-9 after the first 20 games, I think you'd have to take it. So I'm trying to look at it both ways. And yeah, so especially if you would have told me Dame would have missed half the games. So I mean, I think I'm content. I'm with slight lean towards disappointed based on how it's gone.
You know what's funny though? We started off 10-4, right?
Yeah.
The first 14 games, it would have been like 80% excited.
Yeah.
The last 6 games, if we were just talking about the last 6 games, it would be like 80% disappointed. Right? So it's like 14 games excited, 6 games disappointed, and that evens out to like content. More people are actually disappointed than excited. And that's with Dame missing half the games and a super hard schedule. Mm-hmm. And we're above 500. So I don't understand. I don't understand how there's more people that feel disappointed than excited. I would go content. But that's the thing, is like if we started off struggling the first 6 games, right, and then we had 14 games of awesomeness, it would be different right now. It would be different. Mm-hmm. You'd have more people saying excited. Only 8 people were excited. I'm in between content and excited.
Yeah.
I think this team's playing bad right now. I think this team will end up playing better. I think Dame will get back. I think Gary Payton II will get back, and I think a trade will happen, maybe small one, but will make the team better around the deadline. And the West is wide open, so
yeah, I think I'm just leaning slightly the other way, just based on the regression and team defense and stuff, and the offense hasn't looked great. I know a lot of that is because Dame has been out, but I still don't like the way they're playing at times.
The more I think about this, the more I feel like guys are just gassed.
Yeah.
Because they're playing like they're gassed, man. Mm. We'll have to see, but it's like, that's the thing, is last year was guys weren't bought in. Do we seriously think after the first 14 games, like, guys aren't bought in? After they saw that early season success and looked like they were having a ton of fun winning games? I highly doubt these guys aren't bought in or anything. So I don't know how else I would explain it.
I think it was more like they fully bought in, but then, I mean, it's only natural to like let up a little bit, I guess. So I feel like they felt like, once you get to a certain point, it's like, oh, we made it. Like, we're actually good, and you kind of get rid of that mindset that you had going into the season. Oh, you think we're a playing team, we're going to prove all you wrong, and then all of a sudden we're the first seed, after 14 games or close to it, and it's like, oh yeah, see, all you doubters, you stupid idiot, Eric, you had us as the ninth seed, like
You were screaming about preseason games.
that kind yeah, you were worried about how we looked in the preseason, like take this, we look awesome. And so I think it's only kind of natural to like once you have success to like start to not have that same mindset that you did prior to that. So hopefully this little stretch of losing will get them back to feeling more like they did heading into the season where they were going to prove everyone wrong versus we made it and we're really good.
I mean, they flipped a switch coming out of preseason into the regular
Right.
season, It's like, give this team a couple days off and Dame back, and I feel like they could flip that switch again, any moment. We've seen it already, and it's not like this team is out of any sort of hunt. I mean, we're still in, we're not even in the play-in. We're sixth right now, right?
I think so, yeah.
Let me pull up the standings here. Yeah, we are currently... Oh, we're seventh. We're tied with the Kings. The Kings have played 2 less games, so they have the tiebreaker despite us beating them. They have the tiebreaker on win percentage. But we're sitting here sixth. We're literally 1 game behind third.
They play the Suns tonight, so they could...
We're 1 game behind Memphis for third. Memphis is 12-8. Like, all these teams, man, have not played or has been as hurt as us that are sitting amongst us. Like, Memphis is 12-8. New Orleans is 11-8. They've dealt with some injuries, but the Clippers are 12-9, Kings are 10-8, Jazz are 12-10, Warriors are 11-10, Timberwolves 10-10, Dallas is 9-10. They made the Western Conference Finals last year. Right now, they look like they might miss the play-in if Utah keeps this up.
But they have their answer now that'll fix all their defensive problems.
Yeah, what's that?
Oh, they waived Facu Campazzo today and signed Kemba Walker.
Oh yeah,
so
Kemba. I didn't know they waived Facu.
He'll fix all their problems.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being a Mavericks fan off the Western Conference Finals, and it's like, oh, Luka's still young. Can we make the next step? We off a run like that. I mean, we kind of had that the season after we made the Western Conference Finals. That sucks to get to the Western Conference Finals and then look so mediocre despite your star playing awesome.
Well, the parallels are so similar because we have a case where we made changes to the roster. So they bring in Christian Wood. Their big free agent acquisition is JaVale McGee, and then who's been terrible. That's looking like one of the worst signings of the offseason. Yeah. And they can't seem to do anything. Bullock has played like really bad this year, and he was a big part of their success last year. And Luka, there was a play, I don't remember if it was last night or one of the recent games over the last few days, where he gave up the ball towards the end, and I think it got turned over because someone couldn't dribble. And he just stood there, throwing up his hands.
We hit Maxey out of the short roll, and Maxey just needed to attack the rim and make the last defender choose between stopping the layup and stopping the corner three. And he got the ball, and he just immediately kicked it out. It was weird. So that's where it's nice to have, even a guy like Justice Winslow who can't really make much, but at least he'll make the right decision to just attack and. You can't let him have a wide open layup, obviously. So, that's where it's nice to have the Josh Hart, just guys that can make those plays off of Dame, off of Ant, because Dallas doesn't really have that right now. And without Brunson, that's why I didn't believe in Dallas going into the season. And I haven't been a believer in Dallas in previous years, and obviously I was wrong last year, but I still just did not think they had enough playmaking outside of Luka, and that's kind of been the issue.
To be fair, they were below 500 through, I think, 43 games or something last year, and then played really well down the stretch.
But see, that's why people should definitely not be disappointed that we're 11-9 against the second hardest schedule in the league without Dame for half the games. Boston was 500 halfway through the season last year too, and they made the finals, almost won it all.
I mean, look at, like Beerus mentions in chat, the Wolves gave up so much, and they suck right now too, and their future is completely destroyed if this doesn't work. And and now they're struggling to be a 500 team as well. So yeah.
I mean, much like every other team in the West, except for maybe Phoenix, we're in the stage where we're learning our team and where our true weaknesses are. Because now you have enough of a sample size that you can point to specific things. It's kind of hard for us, though, without having Dame and without having Gary Payton II. But, I mean, you think about it. You bring in a superstar and an elite defensive player, that's going to make a huge impact on any team. It's funny because if we talk about other teams, Eric, and it's like, oh, yeah, they're missing a superstar. When I go through scores on post-game shows, I always reference, oh, Miami loses, but they were missing Jimmy Butler. Or someone's, the Sixers lose, but they're missing Maxey and Harden, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, you would expect them to lose. They're missing, their stars or their superstar, right? So that's a huge knock on any team. But it's like for us this year after that start, and since we won a couple games without Dame, it was like, I felt like the mindset became, oh, it doesn't matter that Dame's out. We should win, no matter what.
Right.
Which, it would be nice to be able to win no matter what, but still, Dame's a superstar. Any other fan that's educated, but a fan of another team is looking at us like, oh, well, they haven't had Dame and they're, still in the thick of things. So, just like the Clippers, 12-9. If they had Paul George and Kawhi, they're better than that. If the Blazers had Dame, they're better than that. But we've also had to face, Phoenix 3 times, who are the best team in the West. We've had to face Milwaukee. We've had to face Cleveland. Both those teams, we only played twice. We've already played one against each, and they're clearly like top 3 teams in the East. And then we've already played Memphis, who's 3rd. We've already played New Orleans, who's 4th. Tomorrow we play the Clippers, who are 5th. We've already played the Kings, who are 6th, right? We haven't played OKC. We haven't, I guess we played most teams in the West, but...
we played Houston and San Antonio once.
Yeah. But basically my point is math checks out. Like, we've gotten a lot of these tough opponents out of the way. We haven't faced Detroit or Orlando or Chicago, who hasn't played well. Washington, I still don't believe in. Philadelphia 76ers would be nice to play them right now without Maxey and Embiid, but if you go to strength of schedule, just search strength of schedule NBA, and there's like different metrics for strength of schedule, but the Blazers have the hardest schedule or close to the hardest schedule in the league. If I go to Power Rankings Guru, which bases their strength of schedule off of Power Rankings, the Blazers have the second hardest schedule. The only schedule harder is Chicago's. If I go to teamrankings.com, we've had the hardest strength of schedule. By quite a bit, actually. 1.2 rating. The next is 1.0, 0.9. I don't know what that rating is, but basically, I don't see how people can be disappointed, man.
And I don't understand how people can watch the team play starting Justice Winslow instead of Damian Lillard and watch our defense be absolute crap and come to the conclusion that the problem is the Dame and Ant backcourt still. I saw that this morning. And it does not make sense to me how people can still think that. We're a top 10 defense this year with both of them playing. We are in the 20s without one
without
of them.
Dame.
Without, yeah. So, and we've seen it in the past too. There were years with Dame and CJ together that we were a solid defense. And then there were years we weren't. And I don't think it really has anything to do with the backcourt at this point. I think that's pretty clear to me.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm disappointed rather than leading towards content with excitement, because the defense shouldn't be an issue with Dame out and starting Justice and having, length at pretty much every position. Then you're not having those problems that we've had in the past where we're at an athletic or size disadvantage. We have Jeremy Grant, who's long and athletic. We have Justice Winslow, who's supposed to be a solid defender. We have Josh Hart, who's a good defender for his position. We have Nurkic, who's playing well on the defensive end.
We've been close to average against a super tough schedule without our best defensive player. That's why I'm not disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys seem gassed right now, and you got like Josh Hart. I mean, in that overtime game, what was the overtime game?
The Knicks.
The Knicks. Josh Hart played, 46 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, Jeremy Grant played, I think Justice Winslow played 46. Jeremy Grant was in the 40s, right? And then the next game they come out and the defense looks bad against Brooklyn. Like, yeah, I kind of expect that. Fourth game of an Eastern Conference road trip, and they played 45, 46 minutes. Winslow, Hart, Grant, Simons played close to that. I don't remember the box score off the top of my head. But that's the thing. It's like, the first two games you're playing Cleveland and Milwaukee. Those are really good teams. Then you win in New York. Good win. Okay. And then, but you have to play extra minutes. You have to play overtime. Starters get ran into the ground. And then they come out in Brooklyn and their effort looks dead. It's like, they're probably gassed from the previous game. So I think Gary Payton II will give us a boost, and I think the rest will help. And I don't think it's a Dame problem at all. If anything, our defense has looked a little bit better with Dame, and he's stepped up and gotten a couple of big stops this year that have energized the team. And then obviously he helps the offense a ton. So that's where I'm at.
Yep. Saw someone else yesterday say they were done watching this team as long as Ant was on it. It's like, so dumb.
Oh, that was a dude that was just a troll, and yeah. Shout out Brian Tadovich, $5 dono, says, do you guys think when Peyton comes back he'll give us a pair? Thanks guys for the work. I think he'll give us a shot in the arm. I think he'll give us some energy, and he's going to be the best on-ball defender against guards that we'll have. And I think it's a situation where if they start off games the first 3-4 minutes and aren't playing defense, this team has gotten off to some slow starts, then you sub Gary Payton II in early, and he changes the complexion of the game defensively and from an energy standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Brian, for the $5 dono.
Yeah, I think, that's the hope. And we forget that was, outside of a trade for Jeremy Grant, that was our big offseason move. We had basically one big signing after we re-signed our own guys, and that was to use the tax, or we ended up using more than the tax mid-level exception. We thought we'd only use the tax mid-level exception and not get hard cap, but we actually thought so highly of him that we went above that. So I think Cronin and Billups are counting on Gary Payton to provide that spark. Otherwise, what was the point of signing him? So I think they're just holding on for him to be back, and maybe that's a little bit of a bummer too, because you come back from a road trip, you survive without Dame, you win a game in Phoenix without Dame and Anthony, you win several games without Nurkic, you win a game without Jeremy Grant in Charlotte. I know that was bad competition, but you still won without your starting power forward and center in that one. And then you get everyone healthy and you're coming back home. And then Dame gets re-injured again. It comes out Gary Payton's still not going to be ready for a while. I think they were just kind of excited maybe that they were on track to get healthy and have gotten off to such a good start. And I think it was just kind of a bummer when it was kind of deflating when Gary Payton was going to be out for a while and then Dame gets re-injured, because they had worked so hard without them so far. And now they had to do it again on another tough road trip, and unfortunately, it's just not there. Which leads to your theory that they're just tired. That could definitely be the case.
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from the prisoner of the moment stuff, because if I'd been a prisoner of the moment, right, it would have been after preseason, oh, this team is screwed, we're gonna suck. And then after starting off 10-4, we're the best team in the West, we're gonna make the NBA Finals or Western Conference Finals or whatever. And then after this previous stretch, I would be back to, oh well, we suck again, this team sucks, I knew it, they tricked us the first 14 games, right? You know what I mean? It's just there's no consistency there. It's all over the place, right? So that's why I'm just trying to think of things like the total picture, right? And just not be too down when we go through the dips on the roller coaster, because there's going to be more dips this season. There's going to be more positives. Enjoy the positives. Try and analyze the negatives. That's kind of my viewpoint right now, because if I was sitting here being a prisoner of the moment, especially since I care so much about the YouTube stuff that we do in the channel, I would not be sane anymore. I would have driven myself insane by now. So, that's kind of the approach I'm trying to go with. You know, I'll rant when this team is doing really stupid stuff or losing in stupid ways. But in the big picture, yeah, I'm content. I'm excited to see what the rest of the season has for us. We've seen this team play for some really good defense that I think they're still capable of, especially when you get Gary Payton II back in here. So I'm looking forward to seeing just what that ends up being, what the end result is for this season. And, you know, if there's a little bit more struggle, then we get closer to the trade deadline. If you've watched us in previous years, you know me and Eric know the CBA. We love talking trades that make sense, at times that make sense. So we'll have a lot of coverage for that. That's kind of my whole mindset right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Devin asked, what's the trade you guys, in your humble opinions, think we should make? I mean, it's time to start thinking about that now that we're 20 games in. I want to
like do some, I want to like look before I talk about it on air, because I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, like I said in a previous stream, it's so tough because with 10 teams in each conference having a chance to make the playoffs with the playing games, and then you figure, you know, there's a 11th and 12th probably think they still have a chance. Like even the Lakers, who got off to a really bad start, aren't going to tank at any point because they don't keep their pick anyway. So what's the point of tanking? So they're not going to give up on a season. So like even I'd say all but like San Antonio, you'd expect OKC at some point to pull the chute on the season, and then Houston. Outside of that, I feel like almost every team in the West wants to win games and thinks they have a chance at the play-in at this point. And then in the East, yeah, Orlando got off to a bad start. Detroit got off to a bad start, and it's going to be without Cade for a while. There's some bad teams there, so maybe those teams pull the chute, but I don't think they're like ready to do that right now. So the tough part is, like, how do you judge what trades are going to be available right now when no teams even like really want to make a move?
Yeah, exactly. We need a more separation in the standings. We need teams to like kind of establish their place in their conference where it's like, okay, yeah, we're battling for the play-in. Right now, everything's so wide open that you don't have tiers. In the East, you kind of got three teams at the top that I think will end up being the three teams at the top. That's Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland. And I think that was like my top three going into the season. I forget where I had Boston, but a lot of people have them in their top three. But then after that, the team you got in fourth right now is Indiana. Like, what the hell? Indiana, fourth. They're 4.5 games back. Chicago's in 12th. They're 7.5 games back. There's 3 games differential between those two teams. Indiana plays today. Chicago plays today. If Indiana loses and Chicago wins, it's 2 games between 3rd and 12th. Or between 4th and 12th. So, yeah, you can look at like Charlotte, Orlando, Detroit. Those are obviously the 3 bottom feeders in the East. In the West, you have 2 obvious bottom feeders right now, and that's the Spurs and the Rockets. What players on those teams are guys that aren't viewed as a future piece for those teams that could be gettable, that makes sense from a skill standpoint in terms of fitting them in with our team and what we need? Mm-hmm. It's really hard to do that. And then if that player is gettable, how do we match their salary? And is there a trade that makes sense asset-wise? It's really hard to come to an end result where you're having a trade that makes sense just by looking at those 5 teams. Because those are the 5 teams that I've kind of looked at. And just off the top of my head, people say Saddiq Bey, but Saddiq Bey has been bad this year, man. Saddiq Bey has been like, I like him as a long-term piece, but I don't think he's necessarily going to come in and solve anything. He'd have to play a lot better. He's shooting 41% from the field and 28.6% from 3. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. If you view him as like a point of attack defender, Eric, or what, but
I mean, it's hard to tell in Detroit. Like, I mean, look at Jeremy Grant, but um, yeah, I don't know. He's had some good games, but overall, I think he's been a little disappointing.
And it
But
would take assets for him. It would
yeah,
take at least a
yeah.
first, if not two, and that's just a gamble.
Um, Here's the thing, though. It's like, like you said, yeah, I don't know what we'd give up for him. It puts us in the tax most likely to do it, and like you're just taking a chance on a guy who may or may not be better than what you have already. So it's tough. But I always viewed Saddiq as a guy. I viewed Mikal Bridges the same way. Like he's kind of pointless on a bad team. Like he's much better with being a role player on a good team. He's not like a guy who's going to lead a bottom feeder team to a good record or something. But I trust him, playing off of good players and maybe within a team defensive concept. So maybe that's a guy you look at, like in your system. Maybe he's better than being on a bad team. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, Phoenix was a bad team McHale's second year, right? Or I guess they almost made the playoffs through the bubble, but that was like a mediocre team. He still shot 36% from three, 51% from the field,
yeah, but he wasn't
And
great.
still played good defense.
His rookie year, he wasn't. I mean, he was okay. I mean, he
But like that's
played
the
every
thing
game,
though,
but
is like you would expect that from him his rookie year, right?
yeah.
Like I'm not disagreeing with your point. It's just like in his third season, he's been in the same situation.
Thanks.
Oh, I was talking
Shut
about
up.
you.
Basketball Reference auto playing ads. But in his third season, you wouldn't expect him to regress. And right now, this season, it looks like he's regressed a bit.
I mean, it's still super early. I mean, you
Yeah,
could say
I'm
the
not
same
saying I
thing
know
about like Anthony or whatever. Like, I don't know.
I'm not saying I know for sure.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, you still don't really know exactly what Saddiq Bey is on a winning team. And right now, on a losing team, he's struggling. So it's what? You're going to give up. Blazers don't even have their first next year. You probably have to unprotect that and then give up a future first or two future firsts in order to take a gamble on a guy shooting 41% from the field and 28% from three when you're trying to win.
Yep.
It doesn't really make much sense to me.
Yeah, and then, so everyone talking about our trade exceptions and the hard cap and stuff. So we have about $6 million to play with there, but the problem is adding any salary puts us in the tax. So from everything I've heard, this will change possibly at the deadline if we're up near the top of the standings. But they wanted to give this team until January to give it a legit shot at how it looks. And then also that unless they're up near the top of the standings, they're probably going to punt on being a tax team this year. If they have success again, like they did at the beginning of the season, and all of a sudden find themselves in the second or third seed around the trade deadline, I think they might consider it. But if we're hanging around 500 and just need like a one piece or whatever to make the playoffs, I don't think that's a situation where they're going to be a tax team for.
Yep. So that's the thing with trades. But yeah, 50% voted that they were. Let me see, where's this poll? 50% voted that they were content. 21% said they don't know what they're feeling. 15% said disappointed. 13% said excited. I was in between content and excited. Talked about it. It's funny because I always have people on Twitter. Are you ever not negative? Like, man, I feel like I've been pretty positive this year, so gonna keep trying to be level-headed with this team and take things game from game. And when we lose, it sucks for sure, and I hate losing. But long term, I'm not worried about anything.
Now, if you could get someone like Bay for, I don't know, like a couple second round picks or something, like they're just gonna dump him, I think that's maybe worth the gamble. I think we tried to do that over the summer with Kenyon Martin Jr. So yeah, I mean, maybe that comes into play. Like I said, if we're close enough at the deadline, then they might think about adding a piece like that. Thibault was another player that they went after this summer. So maybe they go after another one of those guys. I don't know if they really need someone who's not a good shooter at this point. Like I'm kind of out on anyone who's not good at shooting, right? Do you feel the same
exactly.
way?
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I like Saddiq Bey. I'm just not a huge fan of at the moment. I'm not trading a future first, and potentially I'm protecting the first we owe Chicago unless we are for sure in the playoffs, or it's like for an obvious difference maker that you have to take the chance on. I still think you can go to Chicago and like change the protections where it's like if it ends up top, I don't know, 4-2, then we keep it, but otherwise they get it, and maybe you change future protections because, if it ends up being 10th, then they get it, where otherwise they would only get it if it's not in the lottery. The only way they get our pick right now is if it ends up between 15 and 30. So maybe you can get creative or something like that. I don't know. We can have those conversations in depth a little bit more at a future date, but the Blazers, I think, need more shooting/shot creation, but that player can't be bad defensively because this defense isn't good enough. So that's the problem. It's just like easy to go out and find, like Malik Beasley, will just go out and get him from Utah if they start struggling, right? And that can be the shooter. Well, we don't need a guard. We don't really need a wing. That guy would hurt our defense.
$14 million in salary.
And it's $14 million in salary. So it's going to be hard. But the thing is once teams maybe start to fall off a little bit, if a couple teams start really struggling and they look like they're not going to be in the playoffs, then they might become sellers, and you add them to the list of 5 teams I explained earlier, and then it's like, okay, well, or maybe we can go and get like a Kenrick Williams from OKC or whatever, or, I don't know. The thing is, Kenrick Williams has struggled shooting this year too, so it's tough.
Or a GM like Presti or Danny Ainge, like, purposely start selling off pieces just so they, like, he's not saying they can't win games, but he's making it a lot harder to win games for them,
I think that could be like the main piece that ends up. Kenrick Williams was shooting 30% from 3 last I checked. It's up to 34%. I feel like that could be the guy that becomes an option. He didn't even shoot good last year, Eric. He only shot 34%. He was 44% the year before. He's a career 34.6% three-point shooter, but he's a good defensive player. Could be available for cheap. Like, that's the type of player we're talking about.
Just for the record, he can't be traded till January 18th.
Yeah, I mean, as you said earlier.
But he did sign a 4-year extension this offseason.
Yeah, like, do you want to take that on? That's the problem. So, that's the problem. So you guys can try and come up with names that fit it and bring them to us, but most of the times when people recommend names, it's like Jeremy Lin or just something ridiculous. So always down for you guys' ideas. All right, let's do one more chat poll on, I don't know, how fans are feeling. We can do it more specific, maybe something they're worried about or something they're excited about, or a specific, whose role would you, or who would you take out of the rotation, or whose role would you try and upgrade? Like that could be Winslow's or Nurk's or, whatever. I don't know. What do you want to do?
That might be interesting. That last one.
Which spot in the rotation would you try and change?
Or do you feel the least confident in, I guess?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, obviously you feel more confident in your starter than your bench. So that's why I was thinking, would you try and change? Because you might try and upgrade a starter. You have more confidence in them than the guy on the bench.
How about, what's the biggest area of concern moving forward? Like the heavy minutes, injuries, coaching, lack of high-end talent? I don't know.
I'll do coaching and roster.
Yeah.
And what you said, injuries, and what was the other one?
Heavy minutes, like heavy players taking on too much.
There are the chat polls in the chat.
Real quick about the trade thing too. I just remembered one more point I wanted to make too. Let's say we did get Jared Vanderbilt or Saddiq Bey or whatever and change the protection slightly to give up a future first, right? Which also is protected. It's not like we're giving up unprotected. Let's just say best case scenario, we have 2 future protected picks we owe, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go into this offseason, then you've already screwed yourselves out of being able to trade multiple first. Whereas right now, if we make the playoffs, even if it's as the 8th seed or whatever, we go into the playoffs with all our future picks freed up to make a huge move if one becomes available. But you can't do that if you trade a future first for someone that's not a star, you know?
Yeah. 43% is heavy minutes, which is surprising. I felt like it was going to be injuries or roster. But only 8% of people have voted roster, so it seems like people are pretty confident in the roster. I would say injuries, because like Gary Payton II, who knows when he comes back. Dame, the fact that he's had 2 problems with that calf now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so injuries right now. Because the heavy minutes play into the injuries, too. Like, future injuries, so... interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think Hart and Grant can keep it up all year playing that heavy minutes, and we know Winslow's had trouble in the past playing heavy minutes, so, I don't like the long-term outlook. Jeremy Grant was bothered by a knee injury all last season after carrying the Pistons. It's not the greatest situation, I don't think, to tax them so much with these heavy minutes. But unfortunately right now, other than Jabari Walker, we don't really have any options.
Yep. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the stream. I'll have a Believe in Blazers podcast later tonight or tomorrow morning. Mailbag, I think I'm going to postpone until Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. Later this week, mailbag, because I need a few more questions. Go to the Discord and go on the left, and you'll see a bunch of different things. There's like discussion thread. There's game threads. There's our content feed. Mailbag questions is one of the options on the left. It's at the bottom of the information section. We had a thread under announcements, but that's not showing up for some people. So go to mailbag questions on the left. I will link this thread if you want to go ask us a question that maybe you wanted to ask us on the stream but didn't have the time to do. And if you're not in our Discord, I'll have to drop you a link to join the Discord first, and then you can go to that thread. So that's the mailbag question thread. Just look on the left. We're going to keep one thread active the whole time. But when you're in the Discord, everything is organized based on what you click on the left. All right? So I don't know how many of you are new to Discord. We've had a lot of people join our Discord lately. But there's information section, a discussion section, and a gaming section. And then you can look at previous mock off seasons even. So... click those titles and you can minimize or show what's within each section. Discussion has general discussion, game threads, clips and media, and that sort of thing. So let me drop the...
Yeah, Alex, why aren't you part of our Discord yet? Jeez,
He's not a part of our Discord? Man, disappointing. All right, so here's the link to join the Discord. The top link is the mailbag questions. So definitely go and leave some, and we can get that mailbag video out. And, stay tuned for some more content. I'll tag everybody in the Discord when we drop anything and all that good stuff. Any final words, Eric?
Thank you to everyone for participating today. It was good to have your input. And hopefully, like Mute That Bozo says, Chauncey spent all day working with Shaden on cutting and dribbling drills. At least offensively, and then awareness on defense. Yep. But thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a good day. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Yep, we'll see you tomorrow with that post-game stream, and then Wednesday they take on the Lakers on a back-to-back, so it's going to be a fun week ahead as long as the Blazers win. Until next time, as always,